our students. So I wrote everything down because I wasn't sure if my caffeine was going to kick in time, and so I wasn't sure if I was going to be fully present. So as I was looking over the mission statement and the posters that we all have up in our classroom, number one, I noticed that the wrong mission statement was up in the art classroom, and so I scrambled and fixed that. So that was good because it was a reflection. It was me reflecting on, okay, those aren't the right words. At least I know the mission statement. Okay. And then I was also looking at portrait of a graduate because although I teach middle school, it's about training students. You're not just waiting till the final hours of senior year to go, okay, now we have to check off the list. Are you doing this? Are you doing this? Yeah, let's make you that way. Boom, done. It's a training process. It's that growth mindset that we're talking about. And so I was telling Rosemary the other day that I really feel like my class is 50% content delivery and 50% how to be a human 101. Because being a person is hard. And so, and it's hard to navigate, and it's hard to let it be hard. And so a lot of what we do as teachers is not only content delivery, but it's character building and how to be a human. And something I talk to my students about in particular is that the habits that we set for ourselves now can be beneficial to our future or detrimental to our future. And there's always opportunities to do a 180 and change. But it's really important that we're mindful and purposeful about setting really good habits for ourselves. I had a student the other day say, but Ms. Hanson, we're only in middle school, we're only in 7th grade. And I said, that's not the way I see it. I see it as you are in 7th grade. So these are my expectations of you because you are able, and you just have to be willing in order to do those things. And so I said, we have to figure out how to make our standards meet. You're going, I'm just in 7th grade, woo! And I'm going, you're in 7th grade. And so I think it's important to bring those things to students' minds, which is part of the portrait of a graduate to exhibit self-awareness. So I kind of categorized the list for portrait of a graduate under our key phrases that we've been talking about all year in our mission statement. So under courageous, to display courage to strive for intellectual rigor. So what that encompasses in my classroom and for practical purposes is letting it be okay to put yourself out there, because I've had students go, I can't ask a question, I feel stupid. Well, why? Do I go, you're stupid? No. So you have to figure out what is inside of yourself that's making you feel that way, because nobody is saying anything when you ask a question, and there are a lot of other students that ask questions in class, clarifying questions, and they're trying to dig deeper and learn more. So that wouldn't be a qualification of stupid. And so talking to them about changing their own inner voice, because a lot of the things, the labels like we've been talking about, students speak to themselves. And then they think everybody else is speaking it upon them. But in reality, it's their inner dialogue that's keeping them there. And also under that category, letting it be okay if it's hard. And that's what I tell them. They're like, it's hard. Hey, that's okay. That's okay. Keep going. Keep going. We can do this together. And so I think that's hard for a lot of our students because everything comes fast. They get a point on their video game fast. They're hungry, so mom takes them to McDonald's and they get food fast. Everything is now. So the process of working through things is really challenging for a lot of people, right? And so just being supportive in that for students. Under thoughtful, to exhibit self-awareness. The first step to change is self-awareness. That's something you learn early in the psychology program. And so it's really important. Something I work with students a lot with is that you're responsible for your choices. And that's something we talk about every day. Every day it comes up. Self-control. The word self-control is consistent. You are responsible for your own choices. You're responsible for what you say. You're responsible for what you do. And so students are like, but that person, but that person, but it was your choice. You chose to do it. So you have to really be thinking about that. And so really talking to students on a level of not, oh, that's okay, but no, you're in 7th grade. And so really helping them to be self-aware, because a lot of times students aren't reflective. And so when in club or something, when I'm like, let's just turn out the lights and play some soft music and just really you can pray and be thoughtful and reflective about, for example, it was at the end of quarter 1, really be mindful of, anything you want to do differently for quarter 2 and stuff. They're like, can we do homework? Can we do this? Can we do that? And so teaching them to take a quiet moment, because those are the moments that they're hearing God and being thoughtful. Another one under thoughtful was to show compassion, modeling what empathy looks like. Under creativity, to exercise creativity not only in an artistic way, but in problem solving. And in mathematical problem solving is very similar, if not the same, to real life problem solving. And that's the parallel that I try to draw for them as well. That first you have to understand the problem. Then you have to come up with a plan. So if you don't understand the problem, how are you going to plan? How are you going to come up with a plan? And then you carry out your plan, and then you look back. And so where students fall short many times is they don't look back and go, hey, did it actually work? They're just like, hey, I did something. Okay, I hope it worked. But look back, what was the problem you were trying to solve? Did you solve it? Then what was the point of coming up with a plan and carrying it out? And so that's another thing that I work with students on. If what you're doing is not working, why are you continuing to do it? And so students will say, well, I study. How are you studying? Let's look at how you're studying. Well, I look through my notebook. Well, if that's not working for you, you need to come up with a different way or add something else to it, because why would you continue to do something if it's not working? That doesn't make logical sense. And so helping students to be thoughtful about those things and to be creative in figuring out solutions, because like I was telling them, how would we have ever made innovations? How would we ever come up with the technology or the scientific discoveries if they kept doing the same thing over and over again and it wasn't working? Okay, you've got to tweak something. So that's under creative. And then leaders, to demonstrate service, to be community and globally minded. And I think that encompasses the concept of thinking of others before ourselves. And like I said, kindness flowing from our hearts. So in closing, the big picture of the mission statement and why we're called here is our vision statement to transform the world for Christ through education. And so I think for us, that means to lead by example, and in particular for me to really be mindful that I need to model the things that I expect from them. So we have to be mindful of what we're doing and what we're saying and where we're at. And also to challenge students to grow and make progress in life process and really take those teachable moments to build character and self-awareness. That way that from middle school up to high school, we're all working on building character and building up to that portrait of a graduate, those things that we want to see from our students, not only when they leave here, but now. Okay, so I'll close this in prayer. Lord God, I just want to thank you